And now let us all welcome your host, Miss Honey Ubusan.
Good morning, everyone. We would like to welcome all of you to today's webinar brought to us by Sears and Google Cloud. This is Apigee, how to manage and monetize APIs easily and efficiently. My name is Honey Ubusan, your host for this event. And before we continue on with the program, I would love to say a big hello to our attendees both here and overseas. It is such a pleasure to have all of you here with us this morning. And we were looking at the chat box a while ago and everybody's so active there. So good morning to you, Michael Lau of Penn Brothers, or the Penn Brothers. We have Noel Lagusan from Central Lumber Corporation. Mary Grace Villados, hello to you as well. Good morning. Bank of Commerce, Brian Alan Barkira. And from EPTA Refrigeration, we have Mark Nabasa. From RDEX Food, Jumar Carton. Emivest BHD, hello to you. Good morning. Chu Bangtan. We also have one Gia Kang. So good morning to all those that were so active in our chat, saying good morning to everyone. I'm sure there are so many more. We'll say hello to you later on, okay? So again, it is such a pleasure to be here with all of you this morning. So today we will be in the presence of industry experts who will be discussing how to leverage APIs to scale your business and uncover new opportunities to support your transformation of objectives in your organization. We're also going to be having an exciting fireside chat on how to improve your overall API strategy, followed by our Q&A. So should you have any questions for any of our presenters, feel free to type it in our Q&A box below your screen anytime, okay, during this webinar. And we will make sure to answer them later on because, like I said, we're going to be having a Q&A. So we have prizes up for grabs during the latter part of our program. Make sure to play the game that we have prepared for all of you. So moving forward, we really appreciate you spending your lunchtime with us because, as you can see, it's hitting noon in just a short while. So having said that, we will be giving out Grab food vouchers, so make sure to stick around till the end. Now let's get things started by welcoming Sears Malaysia's country lead for his opening remarks, Mr. Ravi Paul.
Hi everyone, thanks again for joining the meeting, the webinar, and thanks again, Honey, for introducing me. So my name's Ravi. I head the business for Sears in Malaysia. I will quickly run through who we are because I think more than Google, you need to understand, the audience needs to understand who Sears is and how exactly we partner with Google to go ahead and give you the benefits of the cloud, in this case specifically on Apigee, right? So let me quickly share with you, and I'll take only about 5 minutes of your time before I can go ahead and run through the meat of the webinar, which is about Apigee. So as you know, Sears is a premium Google partner, and we do a lot of work with Google. We are one of their premium partners, like I said. So we are across the world, and we have a strong presence in Southeast Asia. Like I said, I'm based in Malaysia. So we do have a team in Malaysia, we do have teams in Singapore, we do have teams in Indonesia, in the Philippines. We are setting up a shop in the Philippines. We have we've done work in Vietnam, planning to go ahead and open an office there. We've opened up an office in Australia, and we do have plans to go ahead and expand in the Southeast Asia region much more than what we are as of today. So we are growing rapidly. We are a 1,200 seat organization. We were only about half that last year. We have offices in over 16 locations. Half of our workforce is certified on the work that they do, which means that if in case you are looking at using Apigee, you will have an Apigee certified or a trained resource who is going to go ahead and manage your deployment as well as your application after that. We have over 3,000 plus clients. This is across the entire Google stack. And we have done a lot of work on Apigee, and we have one of our great customers as well from Indonesia who will go ahead and run you through what we actually went ahead and did for them and how they benefited from using Apigee. We have 4 core specializations, which is infrastructure, work transformation, cloud migration, and data and analytics. This is basically certifications that's given by Google to tell us that we are capable of doing these four migrations, or sorry, four certifications. We are, like I said, a Google Cloud Premier MSP. We are the second largest MSP partner globally for Google, which means that we have gone ahead and beaten a lot of the larger organizations who have maybe 10, 15 times the number of resources that we do. We have been APAC Partner of the Year for 2020 and as well as 2021. And like I mentioned, the specializations are data and analytics, which work transformation as well as migrations. Why Sears? I'm not going to go ahead and run you through the, sorry about that. I'm not going to run you through the entire 15 years of what we do, but this is just a snapshot of the company. So we are not a company that has started a few years back. We've started in 2006. In 2017, just to go ahead and highlight the particular Apigee that we're talking about, we are the first Apigee partner in India, and we have onboarded 3 of the largest BFSI customers in the first 2 months of us becoming a partner. So this was way back in 2017, and we have done a lot of work after that till the year 2022, which is where we are doing this presentation for you all. What we actually do quickly in terms of the entire services that we do, we have 6 different pillars. The cloud modernization bit of it is where we go ahead and transform your infrastructure, be it from the on-premise world or any other cloud, into Google, into the Google stack, and that would go ahead and help you build a better ecosystem for yourselves. Software engineering, this is primarily where we can say that the Apigee falls under, but this particular team does go ahead and do a lot of work in terms of AI ML, as well as going ahead and helping customers transform their business once they've moved to the cloud, right? Location intelligence, this is more of going ahead and helping customers with using Google Maps, not just going ahead and using Google Maps on their website, but going ahead and building apps on top of Google Maps to go ahead and help you benefit from the advantages of Google Maps. Data and analytics, I'm sure that all of you all on the call do understand data and analytics, but we do great work in data and analytics. And as you know, Google is one of the leaders when it comes to data and analytics. Future of work, this is your Google Workspace, or what was called G Suite before, or what is generally called your Gmail, right? So we do this for all our customers. We have over 1 million plus customers that we have clients that we have gone ahead and migrated onto GWS. And applied AI, this is where we go ahead and build our AI ML solutions. So we do have solutions for eKYC, for going ahead and invoicing customers, and there's a lot of other things that we can go ahead and work with you all on the applied AI portion of it. So with this, I think I'm done, and I will hand it over to Hani again to take it forward. Thanks a lot again for all of your time, and hope you all have a good session today.
Indeed, we are going to have a good session today. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul, for officially opening this webinar, and for giving us an idea of who Sears is. So before we move on to our first presentation today, we love hearing from you. So good morning once again to our attendees that are here with us. I'm pretty sure we have a bunch, and maybe we'll name a few of them right now. We did hear from you. Hello to Kian Hao Cheng. Hello from American Technologies, Rainier Malenab and Joseph Bonzon. Sarang Yan. Hello, good morning. From Bridgestone Tire, Adrian Tan. Nice to have you here with us. We have Lemuel Vinuya, Edgar Pampillona, Rogelio Malvecino Jr. From Polar World, we have Florante Montes and Bob Steele Peñalosa. So keep those good mornings coming. Again, we love hearing from you instead of you just hearing from us, right? So we'll say hello to the rest of you later on. Now, again, since you're so active in our chat, make sure to use our Q&A box as well, because I am about to introduce our first speaker for today. So again, if you have any questions for him or for our second and third speaker, even for our last one, make sure to type in your questions in our Q&A box. and then we will make sure to answer them later on, okay? So moving on to our first presentation for today, our speaker is a lead customer engineer at Google Cloud, specializing in API business transformation and infrastructure modernization based out of Singapore. He brings 14 years of industry experience where he spent 9 years at Google Apigee. He's passionate about transforming the customer's business models through the API-first strategy, which can help monetize the business data through API economy. Now, in the past, he closely worked with First Data, Global Payments, Bank BRI, and many other similar financial services industry business transformations powered by API economy. So to tackle our first topic of the day on driving API economy with Apigee, we have with us the lead customer engineer for Sears, Mr. Anil Sagaro Panagudi.
Thanks for the warm introduction. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us today. Quick introduction, like Hani said, my name is Anil. I'm from Google Cloud, and I have been with Google for almost 9 years and spent most of the time with Apigee. Today, I'm very, very excited to present about how API economy is driving the API market and how Apigee is playing a very critical role in it. Like Hani mentioned, if you have any questions at any point of time, please feel free to ask the questions using the chat window. So let me quickly share my screen. Hope you can able to see my slides. Once again, thank you so much for joining the session. In the next 15 minutes, we will be talking about how large organizations and small innovative companies are driving the API economy with Apigee API management platform. Let's talk about API monetization. Everybody understands that data has a huge value in each and every organization. If you look at Google, the Google mission statement says that, which is organize world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So every company treats data as their asset. To put it in a simple terms, data is the new oil. And the APIs are the pipes that actually carry that oil and deliver to the end users. And API monetization is very similar to the gas pump, where you have different plans for different variety of the gasoline. So very similar to the businesses that people are trying to understand how to extract this data and make it monetizable and deliver it to the end users. And not every API is monetizable. We do understand that some APIs help expand the business through the partnerships, and some APIs can be monetizable as well. And Apigee plays a critical role in both the use cases, which is increasing the user experience as well as the partner base, as well as monetizing the data by packaging the services into different business products and put a rate plans against them, and ability to monetize the data and generate additional revenue from different channels. Last more than 10 years working with many customers, we have seen monetization use cases broadly falling into these 4 categories. First, monetizing the capabilities. For example, if we talk about financial industries, banks, fintech companies, there are a lot of payment APIs which they can monetize, and ability to assign different rate plans, and as well as expand the business revenue channels. And other terms of monetization use cases, including monetizing data via APIs, which includes, for example, geolocation data, user data with the consent of the user, and as well as financial market data with partners, obviously with the consent of the user as well. And also monetizing technology, leveraging the capabilities like ML and Vision API, integrating with the business services that the companies have, and ability to monetize this cutting edge technology and delivering it to the various end users. And we also seen in many large organizations where monetization features are used for internal chargebacks. If you are a large telco or a large bank, if you have different teams consuming different services, and you want to do the chargebacks within the teams, monetization platform helps to do that use cases as well. But before the monetization happen, there are a lot of things has to fall in place in the API full life cycle. I always say this, monetization is not a day one thing. It is always day 1 plus n thing, because there are a lot of things has to be put in place before you start monetizing APIs. For example, how do you develop the APIs in a faster way? How do you deploy the APIs into multiple environments? How do you publish the APIs to different consumers who would like to access the APIs? How do you monitor and analyze the APIs? So a lot of people get excited about the monetization and think about, let me start with the monetization first. But before that, you need a solid API management platform where you start managing the full API lifecycle capabilities and then go towards the monetization capabilities. So let me talk about how Apigee API management platform helps with the monetization use cases. It is always complex to change the backend system and introduce the new features there. Apigee platform acts like a layer where you can easily implement all this complexity with out-of-the-box policies and the capabilities. You can able to package the APIs using API products. Think about like a business products where you want to assign the rate plans and ability to deliver your services to various audience. Apigee monetization capabilities include creating different business models and assigning the rate plans, metering, rate limiting them, as well as enforcing the billing conditions. Developer portal plays a key role in terms of ability to consume these monetizable products. For example, today, if you go to AccuWeather, which is a weather platform, let's say you are a logistics company and you want to access the latest weather information. AccuWeather has various API products, which are business products, which you can subscribe and pay for the APIs that you consume. So developer portal plays a very critical role, and Apigee API monetization platform also brings these capabilities. There are different options in Apigee API management platform. We do understand every customer scenario is different. You want to sometimes create rate plans which are free for first 1,000 API calls. After that, you want to start charging your partners. So you can create this freemium kind of a plans. Sometimes you want to do revenue sharing. When you are exposing the services, when your partners are bringing the business to you, you want to share certain percentage of revenue with them. With Apigee API management platform, you can create all these plans without writing any code. And you can able to accelerate the time to market. And you can also create different fee-based models where for certain API bands, volumes, you want to charge certain dollars. You can also do that with Apigee API management platform. So these are some of the examples. For example, self-service developers, you want to create a prepaid model. In the partnership program, you want to create a postpaid model where you want to invoice them at the end of the month. Also, sometimes you want to create a credit-based model where they purchase credits and they consume towards the API consumption. Apigee is very flexible in terms of API monetization platform. You can create all these models with simple configurations without writing any code and accelerate the time to market. Some of the examples include MapQuest. It is very similar to Google Maps, where they were able to leverage Apigee API management platform for the full API lifecycle, as well as Apigee API monetization for the business capabilities. As you can see, they've created different plans for their APIs. Whenever somebody wants to use the geolocation APIs, they can able to purchase different plans based on their appetite. Again, one of the other example that I mentioned is AccuWeather. For example, today, let's say retail companies or logistic companies or delivery companies, when they're actually delivering the products to various geolocations, they might want to understand the weather before they start shipping the goods or before they start delivering the things. So AccuWeather has different packages for weather information based on the consumer, what they want. They can able to subscribe to this and they can able to access the information from the AccuWeather without talking to the developers. These are some of the examples. Again, Apigee has thousands of customers cutting across the verticals, whether it's financial, telco, media, and entertainment, leveraging Apigee platform to deliver the business. And not to mention, not to highlight this, again, everybody is familiar with Gartner quadrants. The interesting thing is from the year the Gartner started publishing API management quadrant, Apigee has been consistently placed at the leader quadrant at the top of the board every single time. Again, to summarize, Apigee differentiators comes from the complete and proven full API lifecycle management platform. Many other API management tools you see fall under mostly under API gateway capabilities, but Apigee brings the full API lifecycle capabilities to the market. We have 300 plus customers who are leveraging API monetization capabilities today. And like I mentioned, it's all about time to market and how fast you can able to take your services to the market. And we also bring a large partner ecosystem, just like Sears, to help actually implement the APIs and deliver the solutions to the market. Again, thank you so much for joining this session. Let me hand over the session back to Hani for the next line of speakers.
Thank you so much, Anil, for sharing how Apigee enables you to manage your API without touching your backend database directly and provides you with analytical solutions to help generate revenue for your company. So we now move on to our next speakers. So speakers plural, because we have two coming up. But before that, again, we would like to remind all of you, for any questions that you have for any of our presenters, feel free to use our Q&A box below your screen. Type in those questions and we will make sure to answer it later on during our Q&A. Aside from that, I did mention the Grab Food vouchers that we have for all of you for, of course, joining us today. Just wait for them. They will be arriving perhaps through your email, or you can also check your mobile phone, and we'll make sure to deliver them, quote unquote, to you so that you can use it for your lunch today, okay? So now we move on to our next speakers, and they will be talking about Sears engagement models and Apigee service offerings. Our first speaker is a senior software engineer at Sears, specializing in Apigee and full-stack web development. He works closely with IO Connect to accelerate their open banking journey with Apigee and has contributed in building various cloud-native applications for named enterprises as a full-stack engineer. To be followed by our second speaker, who is a lead software engineer at Sears, specializing in Apigee. He has 10 years of industry experience, predominantly in middleware technologies, and is working closely with companies like Prudential UK, US Bank, and has helped them with API implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Mr. Anubhav Chakraborty, Senior Software Engineer of Sears, and Mr. Satyam Malu, Sears' Lead Software Engineer.
Thank you, Annie, for the warm introduction. And thank you, Adil, for the great introduction on the API monetization. Today, I'll be talking about the CS offerings with Apigee. And let me share my screen. Yeah. So today, I'll be talking about CS offerings and how we leverage Apigee to accelerate our API programs. On my first slide here, we have the different verticals and horizontals that we support. First, as you can see, is retail. So if you have an e-commerce platform or if you want to build your omni-channel experiences, you can do it through Apigee. Then we have financial. If you have a bank, if you're an NBFC, if you're a credit organization, then also it fits the use case with Apigee. You can drive your APIs through Apigee to different platforms. Then we have telco, where you can grow your ARPU and new partnerships to drive down the cost with modernization with Apigee. And similarly, we have healthcare and other industries. You can also expand your horizontals by unlocking your legacy applications without disruption of any of a target service. Maybe you would have multiple target servers, which are at different places at multiple clouds or at legacy systems. You can unlock them using Apigee. You can create new business channels. You can do a SAP on GCP, open access to SAP through modern and managed APIs, CCAI, and you can also do DDoS protection and SQL injection protection through Apigee. And this is just through a simple click of a couple of buttons. Then we have the digital value chain. So these are the components of our digital value chain. From at the right side, we have our backend systems, our APIs. And then on the left side, we have our end users. So first is the exposure phase, where you expose your backend APIs to the API team and through APIs. This is where the Apigee platform comes into picture. Then once you've exposed your APIs, your developers or your partners could consume them to build out applications to give out to end users who can then consume your APIs through this digital value chain. So visibility, security, onboarding, scale, and integration, all of this can be done inside of Apigee itself. You don't need any other platform, any other technology here. You can do right to left from Apigee. Then we have the CS engagement model and how we modernize with Apigee. So we have 5 pillars. First, we do the discovery and assessments. We have digital experiences. We test out your API readiness. What all APIs do you have? We have multiple discovery frameworks to help you out, set up the infrastructure, set up the Apigee environments and Apigee organizations. Then once we are done with the discoveries, we go on to the consultation phase, where we discuss your API strategy with our past experiences and API programs and API governance. And we design your APIs with certain policies, what all security needs to be implemented, what all rate limiting plans you might be thinking about. All of that stuff we'll do in the consultation phase. Then once we're done with the consultation, we move on to rapid prototyping and implementing. So we'll create multiple POCs. We would help you test out different scenarios in this phase. Then we'll move to API management, where we would implement your different Apigee systems, Apigee organizations. So multiple policies for rate limiting, mediation, payload transformation, security, all of this we'll be doing here at the Apigee platform. Once we are done with the APIs, we move on to the developer portal phase, where we build out developer portals for you. So basically, we help you build out all 3 developer portal options that are available with Apigee. So one, we have the integrated developer portal, which is present out of the box in Apigee. And it's very easy to set up. Very quickly, you can set it up. And the theming capabilities are there, but it has some limitations. So if you want a bit more complex, a bit more well-rounded experience, you could opt for the Drupal portal, which is also a CMS, and it's written in PHP. You can make customizations, you can control the app flow, you can do monetization here in the Drupal portal. And then finally, if you want a from scratch experience, you could go with the DIY portal using the Apigee management APIs. So Apigee being a API first company, they have every capability on their portals, every capability on their CMS that is present as an open API, which you can use to build out your developer portals or even other apps if you have any use cases for that. Then finally, once the developer portals are set up, we set up rate plans, we set up monetization strategies with you, maybe with your end developers or your partners. Then we help you with analytics and monitoring as well, where you would monitor your APIs if you need a new app in some region, if your APIs are performing well, if there are error codes anywhere, that we would help you with. Then once you're done with this, then we move to DevOps and CI/CD. We have multiple accelerators and migration tools that we also help you with. So Satyam will demo the CI/CD pipelines that we have set up and the strategies that we can use for the slides. Then we have multiple accelerators to move on from one system to the other. So let's say you have a legacy system or you are on a layer 7 sort of an implementation, we can help you move on to Apigee quickly. We have multiple automations in place, and our API development lifecycle is very modern, so that all of your transformations, migrations are accelerated through Apigee. Then finally, we have lights on support, where we provide support to you. We have our L1, L2, L3 teams, which would look at your tickets, and we would help and support and maintain your environments. So yeah, that's it from my side. I'll now pass on to Satyam for the next couple of slides, where he'll continue with the API factory model that we have implemented at Sears. Thank you.
Thanks, Anubhav, for that. Let me quickly share my screen. Hope my screen is visible now.
Yes.
So thanks, Anubhav. So continuing from there, basically, once you have your API vision, and you will have some existing APIs that you want to modernize or you want to expose to their clients. So we come and that's where we start helping you out. So we look at your vision, existing APIs, using the best design practices that we have for APIs. We help you create shared flows, APIs. We help you add all the policies for security, traffic management. All that is done. Once your API proxies are ready, we help you with the CI/CD, where we automate the complete integration, deployment, and testing uh, of the API. Once that is done, we move to the QA testing sign off. So that's where this one comes in. So the QA teams then have a look at the APIs and signs off. Once it is all good from QA, we release the APIs as products, which can then be marketed. And then depending like how Anil explained you about monetization, you can do monetization, you can create free, like as per your requirements, we can help you create those products. All the products that are then created are then pushed to the developer portal. That's where your consumers or the developers and partners who are using the APIs will start consuming it from. As and when the APIs are gets consumed, a lot of analytics data gets produced in Apigee automatically. So about how much requests are coming from where, like which browser people are using, like that, what's the response time. So based on that, the business and operation teams can then take out the like the metrics and do their analytics. So for example, you might see some requests, a lot of requests coming from a particular region. So you might want to focus more there, or when you're creating an app. So if the company decides to create their own app, you could easily get that visibility from your API consumption, saying, okay, a lot of users are actually consuming from iOS app as compared to Android when it comes to US. But when you see it for the same thing in countries like India, so you see a lot of Android users are more than as compared to iOS. So all those analytics data can be fetched out from Apigee and then used for making the business decisions. Next one is the migration approach we have. So currently Apigee as an organization is migrating from on-prem and H2, and they have this new Apigee X that has come in, which is quite popular now. So what we do when it comes to migration is we look at your current state. So we do current state assessment, look at your API traffic volumes, how you have created your organizations, environment, your regional spread in Apigee. We then help you design your Apigee X architecture. So we'll help you with the network topology, what security you want to put in, how do you want to, like a lot of countries have some regulations around traffic not flowing to certain regions and all. So all that traffic isolation, scaling based on your traffic volumes will be done. We'll help you create the new orgs, the new environments, the new users, and the access configuration for them. So once the architecture is done, we then move to the platform automation. This is where once you have an architecture, we take that architecture, we have migration scripts, which can directly create the architecture, like from architecture diagram, it basically creates you the actual Apigee infrastructure. So it installs, it will go and execute scripts that will migrate stuff. It will test connectivity to a backends, it will test the network configuration, and that's where your Apigee platform is up and ready for consumption. The last bit is where we'll get you the actual APIs. So in your old org, you might have some APIs, and proxies, shared flows, and all that. So all those, we have an automation script that basically runs. It does the major lift and shift work and does a few changes as well. So very little manual intervention. You would have all your API shared flows, API configurations migrated, deployed, and then tested. So that's our API migration approach. Next one is like just talking about how the life cycle of an API is. Like, so you start with the design. So first you will create your Swagger document. That's an open API spec. Apigee supports Swagger 2.0. Then if you're creating something new, so you will have a design. You might have to, a lot of policies that you might want to put in your Apigee are already given by them. So if you are putting say basic authentication, JWT, OAuth, so whatever authentication you want, most of them are supported by Apigee out of the box. So you can just go, it's just a drag and drop configure. If things are not possible through drag and drop features, so not every use case can be covered. So for that, we have given the options of using JavaScript and Java callouts. So you can have your codes written in JavaScript, which can do things like transformation if Apigee out of the box is not able to do that for you. Next is security. So like we have mentioned before, we give you end-to-end security, we give you threat protection, access control. You can implement OAuth via like PCI and HIPAA compliance. All that is done. You can do rate limiting, you can do caching. So all that you can do with Apigee. Once your APIs are ready, you publish them. So Apigee has an option of creating a developer portal, and it is as simple as like it can be done. The simplest portal that Apigee supports out of the box can be like set up in like 5 minutes, the basic version, and then you can like customize it as per your organization needs. So that's the developer portal where you'll publish your APIs. Apigee is scalable, so it can, depending on your use case, we can scale the backend infrastructure. Then Apigee provides you a lot of monitoring, so it takes care of spike arrest and all that for you. Once the API starts getting consumed, you can analyze. So Apigee gives you a complete visibility right from the request when it came from the user to the backend. So it will tell you each and everything. Who consumed the service, how much time the API took, how much time the backend took. If the backend was down for some reason, it will show you the error code. So you can generate nice reports out of the box. They're generated by Apigee. And once you have done that, and you decided now that it's time for you to sell your products to the public, you can create monetization plans, as Anil already explained you, that you have flexible rate plans, you can do like limitations, you can put notifications, you can do sharing of profit sharing, all that is available. So that's the complete life cycle that Apigee supports, and we at Sears help you do that. This is sample CI/CD architecture, how generally the projects will be done. So we will have the code in our local development environment. We develop the code, we push it to a Git repository. Now the source code can be anything. It can be Git, it can be Bitbucket. You could use SVN, any source code repository works. You would have your different branches where you will do your development. So generally people will do a development branch. They will develop. Once they're done with the development, they push. So once it is pushed, you can use something like Cloud Build to do a CI/CD. So the steps that generally we recommend to the clients is you have your code. So it goes to a lint first. So it goes to Apigee lint. Then if you have written some JavaScript policies, you can write unit test along with them using the Mocha framework. The next one is the actual proxy deployment that happens on the Apigee org. So based on your branch, you can say, okay, this branch goes to dev, this branch goes to test, like all those settings you can do easily. The API is then deployed on the Apigee org. Once the API is deployed, the next step is the integration test. So the tests are run on the API. Apigee is a test framework that is recommended a lot by Google. It is a simple Cucumber-based script. So you can, it's like just given this, when this, and then this. So that's how you can do it. Once the API integration tests are successful, we just generate a report, then which is stored on the cloud. So this is a sample option that we use. It's not like these are the only tools you can use. There are multiple tools you can use. There are multiple options that you will be having. Just a quick walkthrough of what each of them is. So Apigee lint is an Apigee linting tool. It just makes sure that you don't use any anti-patterns in Apigee. Mocha is a JavaScript test framework. Like I said, if you are writing JavaScript code in your APIs, we prefer to use the inbuilt policies, and only if the inbuilt policies don't work, then we use JavaScript. So that can be tested using Mocha. Maven plugin, there are a couple of Maven plugins that Apigee and the developer community also supports. So you could use that. It keeps getting updated. People keep raising PRs, and also pretty stable plugins that you can use for doing the proxy shared flows deployment. Even the configuration can be done using that. Like I said, Apigee is an integration test framework written in Gherkin, and it's Cucumber based. So that can be used by anyone. So it is like plain English statements, you can say. That's how the tests are written. And Cloud Build is nothing but a serverless CI/CD that is given by GCP. So that's an option you can use. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anubhav and Satyam, for that informative discussion. Indeed, with Sears, you can develop, secure, monitor, and analyze and monetize your API. And with the Apigee platform, it provides you the expertise and resources to improve your business outcomes. It's now time to head on to our fireside chat. Joining us is a well-rounded engineering leader who has over 17 years of experience in developing technology products on various platforms. He's passionate about building, leading, and developing high-performing tech teams. He also leads the technology and product development and oversees the overall strategy of IOConnect, Southeast Asia's largest open finance API platform founded in 2016. Let's give a warm welcome to the co-founder and chief product and technology officer of IOConnect, Mr. Eddie Vora, joined in by the lead customer engineer for Google Cloud, Mr. Anil Sagarupanagudi, and Mr. Kaushal Kulkarni, Sears Indonesia's cloud consultant.
Thank you for the introduction, Honey. A very warm welcome to all our participants of the Fireside Chat with Adi and Anil. In this Fireside Chat, we are aiming to, understand what are the considerations a company needs to make and able to, adopt a full API lifecycle management tool such as Apigee. And, before I start, I would like to hand over to our participants who really want to know what IOConnect is doing in Southeast Asia.
Thanks, Kaushal, and thanks, Honey, and great to be here. Hello, everybody. I'm Adi. I'm co-founder and CPTO at IOConnect. We are an open finance platform based out of Indonesia. Excited to be part of this fireside chat and speak about how Apigee has helped us not only build faster and more securely, but also influenced how we have designed some of our API products, right? So IOConnect's vision is to power the leading companies of today and the tech unicorns of tomorrow to help them ease them to help launch financial products on their platforms in a matter of days or weeks, as opposed to months as it is right now. And IOConnect has built an abstraction layer between the merchants and the vendors. And the vendors are like banks, billers, other fintech companies, financial institutions, by providing a structured, secure API framework to integrate multiple different products seamlessly. So that's a little bit of introduction of myself and IOConnect. Thanks, Kaushal.
Thanks, Adi. I mean, understanding that IOConnect is an open banking-based organization, Apigee might be, the perfect fit for, IOConnect, because understanding that APIs are your core business product. With that introduction, I would like to, get on to our first question. And the first question that I would like to ask is to you, Adi. How has cloud in general helped IOConnect build and operate your products? And in addition to that would be, what advice would you give to, say, early stage startups? As you mentioned that you guys are targeting the future unicorns. So what suggestion would you give to Google Cloud, to early stage startups for their cloud journey?
Sure, that's a good question. So we being in the fintech space, it was very important for us to adhere to regulations of the local regulatory bodies. Before Google Cloud, we were hosted on a local cloud provider, but it was difficult with the support, the scalability, the security, and pretty much we had to manage a lot of the aspects ourselves, and we had to dedicate teams on it. Once we realized that Google Cloud was moving into Indonesia, it was easy for us to kind of take a decision to migrate our products, our services into Google Cloud and leverage services like Kubernetes Engine, Cloud SQL, PubSub, a lot of stuff that we already built on top of. So it was kind of the decision that we made there. And I think we haven't looked back, and we've scaled up quite a bit from that point of time. To answer your second question, I would say three things that come to the top of my mind. One is, don't compromise on technology in the start. A lot of times we feel like, want to build fast, launch fast, and we normally take shortcuts, but don't do that. I would say it eventually becomes a technical debt in the long term, and you'll spend a lot more time solving it or rebuilding systems to solve that problem. So architect it well, architect it like your vision that you have for the long term. but be lean and build in parts and take it from there. The second thing I would say is don't try and build everything, right? There are a lot of open source, a lot of services out there that you can leverage and integrate. And there are experts better than possibly your team or your resources that you have that have built, that understand that domain better. So I think one of the key things for me was to understand what we built, which would be our core product and where we want to kind of focus on, but try and leverage a lot of the external products or services or open source code that are there to kind of start fast and leverage that. Of course, in the long term, if it's really successful, you can always rebuild it, but in the start, that's a good place. And the third thing I think, and it's helped us a lot, is use the help, right? There's a lot of help for startups out there in the market. For example, Google supports startups, early stage startups very well by providing credits and non-credits, really good support on understanding and architecturing your systems well. So use the help. There's always help for you out there. So those are three things I would say for early stage startups that I can do.
Thanks, Adi. So, just maybe to summarize, the three things for startups would be don't compromise on technology. The second thing would be don't try to build everything. And I think we will highlight that, in our fireside chat further. But also the third point, I think, which was really important, was use the help. Don't be don't take it on your ego that you have to do everything on your own. I feel there are a lot of partners out there who can help you. And with that, I would like to, follow this question up to you, Adi. And I think, Anil, I could, you could also add to this. Would you share, with our guests, why you were exploring an API management solution for IO Connect? Adi, this is to you, and maybe to follow up, Anil, why any organization would want an API management solution?
Sure. So I think we are an API first startup, right? All our products are hosted via APIs, and our partners and merchants consume them. So before Apigee, we had built our own custom framework, but maintaining it was a lot of time. We had to put a lot of resources, and a second layer was the security scalability also was completely on us. We have more than 3,000 products hosted on 15 different APIs. And it was, as we scaled up and as we saw an increase in transaction, we found that that was becoming a single point of failure for us on our end. And that's kind of where we were exploring options out there. And of course, Apigee was one of them. For us, the main reason was to have a common interface to set up, manage, and monitor APIs, manage our merchants as well, and understand and track how they're consuming our APIs and any errors and issues they were facing. Also, leverage possibly Apigee's developer portal to help us save time on building a developer portal for developers, also giving the ability to self-sign up and get credentials and start developing instantly, which was a really big point for us as well. And lastly, of course, was using all the above to kind of monetize APIs. And that was our end goal, is to monetize our API product. So that's a little bit of why we were looking at a managed solution, and how we ended up with Apigee.
Thanks, Adi. Anil, yeah.
Thanks, Kaushal. Thanks, Adi. Thank you for sharing your Apigee story. It's a privilege to have you as an Apigee customer. Again, to repeat Adi comments, from my experience, in 9 years at Google and Apigee, I had a chance to learn from many customers, just like IO Connect and from Adi. To highlight, we have seen many common patterns across the customers, but to highlight two of them is, first one is time to market and feature velocity, which is very, very important. I would like to share an interesting story. I don't know how many of the audience who joined here remember iPhone 6 launch in 2014. If you have used iPhone 6, or if you remember iPhone 6 launch, Feel free to comment in the chat window, like what is the unique differentiator in the iPhone 6 launch. Why I'm telling this story? Because I had a chance to work with a payment company when iPhone 6 was about to be launched and they were coming up with the new features. We never know actually when we started working with them 30 days before the actual iPhone 6 launch. This payment company was actually trying to meet the timeline when Tim Cook was announcing iPhone 6 launch on the big stage and the features that is coming up. We were working on the payment APIs with this company, and this is the only company who are able to meet the deadline of iPhone 6 launch. None of the MasterCards and Visas were able to meet the deadline to support the new feature that was about to be launched with iPhone 6. The new feature was one-touch payments. If you remember iPhone 6, the unique feature that came up as with your thumb, you can able to make the payments by authenticating yourself. This company was actually working behind the scenes because they know this feature is coming because they had a partnership with Apple. And Apigee made it possible. Within 30 days, they were able to implement and integrate with the APIs and go live with their merchants who can able to support the Apple One Touch Payment APIs. Again, to summarize, the time to market and feature velocity is very important because changing the backend is always complex because anything that you touch the backend, it takes a ton of time to do the changes and most importantly, to scale and manage them. Apigee creates a layer where all this complexity can be taken away and focus on the core business. The second important point that I want to highlight is APIs as a business products. Again, we have seen it time and again. Every company starts treating APIs not just as technology things, but most importantly as a business products. How you package, how you deliver the services to various partners and various applications and various end users is very, very critical. Again, we all seen in the COVID times, I want to take an analogy of the restaurants. When the COVID happened, people were not able to go to the restaurants and have the dine-in. But restaurants were able to quickly adopt and partner with multiple delivery companies and able to deliver their cuisines in multiple different plans and packages and different varieties, different sizes and different combo plans. Think about the same for your business. Today, you have so many services. Today, you have so much data. But every partner and every end user appetite is different. How can you actually package your services in different quantities and different pricing plans and able to deliver it through platform like Apigee monetization? So that's where we have seen very similarities across the customers and how they're using Apigee API management platform.
Thanks, Anil. Thanks, Adi. That was quite informative. And I think both your answers were more or less in sync. Adi mentioned that they wanted to focus on the business product rather than, spend time managing their APIs or, be worried about security. And that's in sync with, I would say, time to market, feature velocity, and also APIs as a business product. So that was, quite insightful. And maybe to Adi, I would want to follow up. Okay, cool. API management solution is required that we've zoned into, but why Apigee? And before Apigee, how are you managing your APIs?
Sure. So I think before Apigee, we had set up a open source solution. We customize it, of course, on top based on our requirements. So we set up an open source solution. We built from scratch. Our security layer and needs we kind of set up ourselves. But it was in the start, it was good, right? When we were small and we were kind of focusing on product, it helped us. And we didn't focus too much into what an API management platform should provide. We were looking at the core focus of it. But as we started scaling up, we had major issues with monitoring transactions, scalability. We had breakages and we had to kind of manage each and everything of that service. Also, stuff like logging, which is very, very important. Audit logs are important in fintech, and we have to regularly provide them to regulatory bodies. Authentication, another very important part in fintech APIs. Of course, monitoring and tracking transactions, actually the monetized transactions that were there. So as we scaled up, it became more and more difficult. It started consuming a lot of resources to maintain and manage these supporting layers of the API framework. And that's when we started looking and exploring different frameworks that we could integrate. And once Apigee came on the plate, and of course with Apigee and the whole solution that Apigee provides end to end, it was eventually an easy decision now that I look back at it to choose and implement. And it's been 6 months and we've been working with them, working with Apigee, and it's been really good so far. Or a little more than 6 months actually. Yeah.
That's good to hear. I mean, earlier you were trying to build everything, and
Yep.
now and more so, if I understand correctly, you guys were using an API gateway rather than like a full lifecycle API lifecycle management tool.
That's true.
With that, yeah, I think with that, I would like to highlight, maybe Anil, you could highlight, because most of our guests today are from high growth businesses, and I'm sure they would want to hear some factors that one should consider for API management. Maybe you could highlight, for example, the build versus buy dilemma that we have been talking about. Oh.
Yeah, thanks, Kaushal. I think Adi had made very important points in build versus buy. Again, that's a very common pattern that we see across the customers who actually starts evaluating API management platform like Apigee. Again, to highlight the factors, right? The first one is time. Apigee actually built this platform from last 12 years, Apigee and Google, right? So with tens of software resources. Think about, do you want to spend say the same more than a decade in building the API management platform and maintaining it, or would you like to focus on the business and let Apigee handles the rest of the things? Again, it's not easy to build an API management platform even using open source platforms, because the reason is most of the open source platforms today falls under API gateway category. They are not offering the full API lifecycle capabilities that includes developer portal, monetization, analytics, monitoring, as well as design and other things. They offer only a very small subset of gateway where you can do rate limiting and some kind of security. So API gateway is mostly inside out. I have my APIs, I want to get it outside. But think about the outside in, right? You have partners to onboard, you have different packages to create, you have to understand who are consuming your APIs. You don't want to bring like 5 different tools to stitch together this entire API lifecycle. Instead, you want to get the full context using the single platform like an Apigee and focus on the core business. And we all know that it's easy to write code, but difficult to maintain, scale, and secure it. I always remember this from my first company where the CEO said, Anil, the best developer is not the one who writes the code from scratch. The best programmer or the best developer who solves the business challenge at the end of the day by actually reusing the existing platform. So it is always important to remember that we have to solve the business goal, and APIs as a business products using Apigee management platform helps to achieve that goal.
That's quite informative, and agreed. If it took Apigee 12 years, I mean, it's not easy to navigate through those open source solutions, and also support, right? I mean, with open source, you don't get the right kind of support. So if there are breakages, as Adi mentioned earlier, whom do you go to? That's the biggest question I think a lot of companies need to ask. Please feel free to use the chat box, or sorry, the question Q&A section to raise these questions. We'll take them up in the Q&A section. With that, Adi, I would head on to my next question, which is IOConnect is solving a unique challenge in the market, and I, including the guests, would like to know what kind of business impact can Apigee have on these challenges or on these business use cases that you're here to deliver.
Sure. So I think the number one would be, of course, time and money, because time equals money in startups anyway. So I think with Apigee, you already are keeping your team lean, because with the managed platform, you don't need to dedicate particular resources to kind of manage your API products. But also on the other end, yeah, there's a big advantage of the setup and management of API products on Apigee, and the interface that's provided makes it very easy to it's almost like no code, where when you can set up your API products, you can kind of design your systems to kind of follow that. The second one would be, of course, the security profile, which is actually very, very important for us, especially in the line of work that we are in. And of course, with Sears and Google and the initial architecture that we guys created together and how we plan the future of it as well, very, very important for us to kind of understand. And that was an important business use case to kind of handle. And the third one, of course, is scalability, where, as we are increasing our transactions, as we're increasing hits to our system, we don't want to really worry about scalability and keep looking at that. So with the monitoring that Apigee does provide, and the way the system is built, I think those are the three key points I can think of that have helped the business use cases for us.
Thanks. Thanks, Adi. That makes sense. I mean, security, scalability, and setup and API, setting up your API products using Apigee. That might save a lot of time for you to focus on your business use cases and not worry about breakages or any disruption in production.
Yeah.
With that, maybe a final question for Anil, and then maybe one question for Adi, if time permits. For you, Anil, like we have been focusing on high growth businesses and maybe from an enterprise point of view. But number one is digital natives could come up and say, why Apigee? Is Apigee good for us? That's the first question. And the second question is, yes, if they decide to go with Apigee, what considerations would a digital native business have to undertake to evaluate Apigee?
Yeah, thanks, Kaushal, for the question. Most of the time, digital natives very quickly understand the value that Apigee brings to the table compared to the traditional enterprises. Traditional enterprises has a different set of challenges. They want to modernize the legacy systems, but digital natives is all about how can I accelerate my business? How can I partner with more ecosystem players? How can I bring revenue channels from different dimensions by onboarding more partners? For them, it is all about treating APIs as a business products, not just as a technology. Many people think that APIs as an integration or APIs as a technology, but from the digital natives point of view, they really see APIs as a business products rather than the technology. And finally, ability to monetize data and creating different rate plans for different partners is very critical, and deliver the services through the APIs. I always say this, if you look at companies like Twilio, they're like Uber of telcos, right? Telcos had the existing user base, telcos had the telco services, but they were not able to actually take out these services, go to the market and sell as a business products. But Twilio was able to do it because they were able to move faster through the APIs as a business products concept. We start to see every single digital native company is moving in the direction in becoming a platform company rather than a product company, and taking their core services as an API products and ability to expand the partnerships. So again, to summarize, three things: treat APIs as a business products rather than technology. It's all about the partnerships, how we can able to onboard more partners and expand the revenue channels. And the third thing is monetize your services and data through the API products.
Awesome. Thanks, Anil. So in conclusion, I think digital natives need not shy from Apigee. In fact, this is something that they are already, these feelings, like these thoughts are already imbibed into them, that APIs are business products, and it's easier for them to jump on this train and understand how Apigee can be used. With that, Adi, the final question to you from my side. As Anubhav and Satyam mentioned, we at Sears have a dedicated Apigee team that helps companies such as yours to onboard Apigee or set up the entire ecosystem for your APIs. Why did you choose to work with Sears, and how did our partnership help IOConnect?
Sure. So interesting. I think maybe a couple of years ago, I got a chance to be part of one of your seminars, and I don't know if it goes way back, and I was pretty impressed with what you guys were doing and how you were helping startups and small, big, medium companies to kind of help them not only architect the systems, but even implement to a point. And then when we were looking for a partner to come in and support us, and when we spoke to Sears, we were very aligned on that goal. Particularly with Apigee, I think it's been a great help. In the initial days, you guys helped us, not only helped us explain Apigee and how it comes in, but also helped us a little bit on our architecture and helping us maybe do a rubber stamp on what we had designed and maybe some tweaks on how it can help better. So for us, yeah, you guys have been a really good support to us to where we are right now with our API products, and appreciate the help. And Anubhav, of course, yeah, we've been working closely for a while now, and really happy to have him part of the group as well.
Thanks a lot for your kind words, Adi, and hopefully we can work much more closer, in the future. And this brings us to the end of our fireside chat. We have, I think, a couple of questions from the audience members, which we can take in the Q&A section. But I would like to thank you, Adi and Anil, for joining this fireside chat. And thank you for the participants. I hope this was valuable. And for me, at least, there are a lot of takeaways. And I think we can all reflect on these takeaways and evaluate Apigee as a full API lifecycle management tool. Thank you. Over to you, Honey.
Thank you so much, Adi, Anil, and Kaushal for that insightful exchange of thoughts on how Apigee helps IO Connect seamlessly to manage their APIs. So we just wrapped up our fireside chat, and as mentioned just now, we're now opening the floor for any questions that you have for our speakers. So let's call them back for our Q&A. We have with us Anil Sagar Rupanagudi, we have Satyam Malu, Anubhav Chakraborty, and I'm assuming also Devora will be joining us as well. Hello, gentlemen. And the first question in our Q&A is, how can Apigee help small to medium-sized companies?
Yeah, maybe I can take that question. Thank you, Mazel, for asking the question. When customers reach out to us, we don't see as a small company or medium company or a large company who is reaching out to us. What we are very, very excited about is we want to understand your business and business compelling event, why you would like to use Apigee. Again, there are different priorities and different goals for different customers. Some customers want to onboard more partners. Today, they take almost like a couple of weeks or months to onboard a partner, can onboard within few hours. Some customer says, I do have APIs and I want to create a different kinds of experience to my end customers. For example, can my end customer talk to Google voice bot and ability to retrieve the data? For example, some customer says that, okay, I want to onboard more partners in a faster way. How can I do that? Some customer says that I do have monetizable data. How do I monetize it? So we are more interested about your business use case and business compelling event, and we are happy to work on that with you guys. Also, we bring in the large partner ecosystem like Sears, who can help you guys in accelerating your business. Again, we do have different pricing models for different kinds of companies. It's not like one size fits all. Again, based on the API volume, we can able to accommodate your requests and able to work with you guys.
Our next question is, we have mostly internal APIs. What role does Apigee play in managing internal APIs? So perhaps that could be for Anil again.
Yeah, I can take that question as well. This is a very common scenario that we see in most of the companies because in the past, they struggled to expose APIs to the outside world because of the security concerns or because of compatibility concerns. Most of the APIs stayed as internal. I always say this to the companies who says that, hey, we don't need API management and we don't have the external APIs we are just getting started on the external APIs. But think about this. Today, even your internal APIs has to be secured, has to be scaled, has to be managed, has to be created new versions and updated. Doing that in the backend takes a ton of time. And also you might have seen issues with the scalability and ability to release the APIs in a much faster way. So today APIs can be internal, but tomorrow the same APIs can be partner APIs. Day after tomorrow, the same APIs can be public APIs. Think about how you can seamlessly take these APIs, the internal APIs, to the partners and to the public ecosystems. So that makes it increasingly critical, no matter it's an internal API or a partner API or a public API, you should have a platform which can manage the full API lifecycle seamlessly. So that brings again the platform conversation like Apigee. Most importantly, even if your internal APIs are getting consumed by your own applications, you want to understand the behaviors. You want to understand at what point of time which API is getting consumed by which application, because these business insights are extremely critical for the CXOs, and they want to understand where the consumption is happening. The API platform can also bring these intelligent insights and analytics that can also help take the business decisions at the end of the day. So no matter it's an internal API or a partner API or a public API, you need a platform so that you can able to see the full API cycle at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Anil, for answering our first two questions. We move on to the next, which is what are the alternatives for CI or CD tools? So perhaps Satyam or Anubhav could answer that, either of you.
Satyam, you are on mute.
So I can take that one up. What we demoed in the call today was sample one, but as you know, like in the complete life cycle, there are multiple tools that you can use. So for example, when we talk about CI/CD, you could use Jenkins, you could use Cloud Build, you could use other tools like that. There's Bamboo. Instead of Maven, people use Bamboo, and those options are also there. You could even write your own scripts. So Apigee is an API first company, so they have a lot of management, like everything that can be done on the UI has equivalent management API for that. Similarly, for versioning, you don't have to use Git, you can use Bitbucket, you can use SVN. So quite a few options are there when you have to like design your CI/CD and this thing. Thank you.
We move on to our next question, which is we are using open source platforms to manage APIs today. So how is Apigee going to be different? Looks like that could be a question for Anil to answer, perhaps. Oh, I think you're on mute right now. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So again, this is also very common that we see people who just start building APIs, but once they have production APIs, they quickly realize some of the open source capable softwares are not able to meet the requirements. I can give you some examples. Most of the open source platforms, when it comes to API tooling, falls under API gateway capabilities, where you can do some kind of rate limiting, throttling, and some kind of a security. But the moment you see the full API lifecycle, right, where the API gateway is only a very small subset. For example, what about the API monitoring? And that includes the contextual monitoring from the payloads. What about the API analytics, right, where I can able to take the business decisions on top of the API consumption? What about publishing the APIs, packaging APIs, as well as developer portal and onboarding my partners and giving access to them based on various preferences? So all these things complicate the story of open source. Again, open source is not free. Not many people think that open source is free, but the problem is you still have to spend a ton of time in actually building those things, writing code, scaling the things and managing the things and taking care of the security of the platform itself, that time is actually money. And at the end of the day, when something happens, you need enterprise support because you don't want to disrupt the business. If you disrupt the business, again, that will cost a lot of money for the enterprises and the customers. So having considered all these things, yes, open source platforms are there. They solve the problems, but only at some subset of the API management solutions that we have seen, not the full API lifecycle.
Thank you so much, Anil. The next question, I think, is from Terrence Tan, and he says he has clients in China. Now, if he uses Apigee, will there be any issue for them to access that?
Yeah, great question from the audience. Okay, I'll make it less controversial when I answer this question because it's always debatable when the China question comes in. Currently, we don't support hosting the APIs in China, but all the APIs that are hosted are outside China because we don't have a data center inside China. Having said that, we do have customers who hosted their services outside of China, and some of the traffic still comes from China. Again, it depends on a lot of factors, not just Apigee and Google. For example, it depends on domain and domain name being whitelisted from the mainland China. It also depends on the network endpoints from the China to the outside China. So again, we are happy to work with you and understand the use case and understand the implications of it. But we do have customers who have APIs outside China and still the traffic is flowing. Again, it depends on customer to customer, not exactly from the Apigee and Google Cloud side. We are more than happy to work with you and understand your use case.
So it actually depends. Okay, thank you, Anil. Next question is, what are the different developer portals available and its uses?
I could probably answer that. So there are basically three options. So one is the integrated developer portal, which is right out of the box inside the Apigee portal that we have. So there you can do your basic stuff. You can generate, the developers can come up, register themselves and generate keys. You can host your Swagger documentation there, and some features that so yeah, theming and custom CSS, and if you want to change the look and feel, that is also possible with this portal. But there are some limitations. So let's say you want to change the flow of the application, that might not be possible. And even a big feature, monetization, if you have a use case for that, then you might be better off with using a Drupal portal, which is the next option, which has a bit more customization. It's also a CMS based out of PHP, but you can do monetization there. You can control the flow of the application. And if you want like unlimited complexity and whatever you want to do, like completely free and do it from scratch, you can also do that using the management APIs. So maybe you could do using React, Angular, Django, Java, anything. You can use it. You can call these management APIs and build your portal yourselves to generate keys, to do monetization, anything. So these are the three main options that we have at Apigee.
Thank you so much. Our next question is, we are building API model platforms for the bank. Now, with the use of Apigee SDK, is it possible to monitor the mobile apps? And what can we monitor and analyze?
Yeah, maybe I can take that question as well. And please feel to add on to it, Satyam and Adi as well, from your experience. Again, I believe this question is in context of API, so let me answer that. Apigee Platform has a full-fledged API monitoring capabilities. It's one of the things our customers love it, because the reason is, even before the API goes down, they were able to actually get alerted that API might go down using the API monitoring capabilities that Apigee provides. We don't just monitor on some of the API metrics like response times or latencies or 95 percentile, 99 percentile. We do that as well. But what is interesting is you can able to monitor based on the actual payloads that are going inside the API and get alerted if something goes wrong. And also you can contextualize it based on that particular application or particular partner who is actually making those API calls, and you can set alerts. For example, when this partner is making API calls using this particular app for this particular API, if the number of errors within a particular hour goes above 5, get me alerted in a Slack or email. You can able to do contextual monitoring using Apigee Platform. What can you analyze it? Whenever a single API call goes through Apigee Platform, goes to your backend, comes back, goes back to the client, we almost capture more than 150 metadata points. That is nothing to do with the request and response. Things like response times, latencies, how much time your backend take, how much time your API take, which API it hit, which app it came, which API product it belonged to. So all this metadata we capture in the Apigee Analytics. Using this, you can create customized reports and you can able to drill down into specific attributes. Not only just the metadata points on top of the API calls, you can actually even send the part of the payloads to Apigee Analytics. Combined with these metadata points, you can able to create the business insights for your business leaders. So Apigee Platform not only helps in monitoring the APIs and get you alerted before even something goes wrong, but it also helps you in understanding the business context through the APIs.
It looks like we're down to, I think, a couple questions. And the next question is, do you support the entire API lifecycle?
Satyam, can you take the question?
Yes, we do. So right from even before Apigee, if you want to build out your APIs on any platform, like let's say Python, you want to build your APIs on Node.js, anything, we can help you build that. And then we could help you host them on your VMs, or maybe serverless. If you want to go serverless, you can use Cloud Run. Then after building your APIs, you can transition into the Apigee space where we do all the Apigee stuff, build out proxies from your APIs, implement the policies. Then the next step, we can help you build the developer portal. And even after the developer portal, if you want to build apps on top of your API program, we can even help you do that. We do support the whole lifecycle.
Thank you so much. And then this is our last question for our Q&A. What are some key success factors for an API program?
Maybe I can take that question. It's very important to come up with key OKRs, what we call it, the results. Some of them include things like what is my current API traffic? How does it look like in the next 3 months or 6 months? And what about number of apps which are consuming the APIs, and the number of partners who are consuming the APIs, and number of API products that I'm publishing, and all those things. So these are some of the key indicators that any business can measure when it comes to API program.
Okay, thank you so much, Anil. Actually, Brian says, thank you, Anil, for that very informative answer. Addy, we didn't get to hear from you. Is there anything you would like to add on with any of the questions that were asked today?
No, I think the team already answered most of them. So very, very relatable answers to IO Connect as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Pretty much all said. So again, thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining in our Q&A. That already wraps it up. Thank you so much once again to our speakers for sharing your knowledge once more. Thank you as well to our attendees for your queries. It's now time to find out how well you paid attention to our speakers' presentations. It's time to play a quick game, and we call it Kahoot. As you can see, there is a QR code that's being flashed on the screen. We're inviting everybody to use that QR code right now, or you could just open your browser, type in kahoot.it, use your mobile phone or any device that you have. So once you're done using the QR code to join, you have to enter the game pin number, and it's there on the screen as well, 736-9445. Instead of your nickname, use your full name. So again, it will ask you for your nickname, but we would like for you to please use your full name in case you win. It's going to be easier to find you. So after that, you click the OK Go button. Once you're done, this is how our game works. We're going to be asking a series of questions that are, of course, related to the presentations of our speakers. And then once a 20-second timer is up for each question, our leaderboard will show our top 3 scorers. After each question, of course, perhaps after the last, which is the 4th question, we're going to be finding out who our overall top 3 winners are. And we're going to be giving out 3 prizes to our 3 lucky winners. As you can see, the names are already coming in, and it's great to see most names have their full name. So again, it'll be easier to find out, to get in touch with you should you win our Kahoot game. Right now, we have 31 players. We'd like to have more, and it seems like there are more coming in. So for those that are still having trouble, again, use the QR code. Right after that, enter the game pin number, which is 736-9445. And then instead of your nickname, put in your full name and then click the OK Go button. We've increased by 10. There are now 41 players that are here with us. Hello, Brian Allen, Michael Lau, Mark Kalalang, Sarang Yan is joining as well. Aiza, Hadi, we've got Hans, Lexter Diumano, Edward Lakaba, Cheng Kian Hao. I did see in the chat box, people are saying hello from Malaysia, so hello to you as well. I did see something like Jorong, Malaysia, is that right? Nice to have you here with us. Hope you're playing the game too. We have Bob Peñaloza, we've got ZZ, Eldrin M. We're almost at 50 players. We dropped one. Almost there. We just want as many people to join as possible to make this fun. And again, we're going to be finding out how well you listen to the presentation. So it's going to be related to the presentations of our speakers. And we've already hit the 50 mark. There still are a few more coming in. Nana's here. We've got Ronel Diaz, Elaine B, Sunny C, Rahul Yati, NK Go, Nestor's joining, Kang, we have Jumar Carton. We saw you in the chat a while ago too. Let's see. We're over 50. It looks like we're ready to play. So let's start our Kahoot game. Again, this is Apigee, how to manage and monetize your APIs easily and efficiently. We're now starting with our first question. How many types of developer portals are there? Is it 2, 4, 3, or 0? 10 seconds on the clock. Answer as fast as you can, because if you have the same answer as somebody else and it's correct, I guess they're going to base your points on who answered the fastest, right? The answer is 3. 17 of you got it right. And Brian is leading, and then Frank, and then the other Frank. So let's move on to our second question. If data is the new oil, then API monetization is or are the what? The pipes? Is it the ATM machine, the gas pump, or the bank? I did see that a while ago, so I hope you guys are going to get this right. 5 seconds left. 45 answers in. Let's see how many of you got it right. Gas pump is the answer. So we've got Brian Allen, Sunny C, and Jumar Carton. You guys can still catch up. We've got 2 more questions. The third one is, how many Apigee customers use the monetization platform? Is it over 300, over 2,000, or over 1,000? Or above 5,000? Red, blue, yellow, green, which one is it? Looks like most people have answered. The answer is over 300. Only a couple of you got it right. Okay, so Brian Allen is still leading. Christian Ted P is second. Sunny C is third. Fourth and final question. Which of the following is not a testing framework used with Apigee? Apigee, Postman, Mocha, none of the above. Which one is it? Answers are coming in so fast. Even if we still have a few seconds left on the clock. And we're going to be finding out who our overall top 3 winners are. The answer is none of the above. It seems like most got it right. And top 3 goes to NK Go. Congratulations. Second, Sunny C. And first place looks like, I'm pretty sure it is Brian Allen. So congratulations to our 3 winners. Each of you will be getting a prize. So expect a call from our team so you know how you get to claim it. Now, with our webinar coming to a close, I'd like to call back once again Mr. Kaushal Kulkarni to share a few words.
Thanks, Sunny. It was a great, pleasure having, pleasure of Sears and Google Cloud to have been presented with the opportunity to share our thoughts on Apigee, a full API lifecycle management tool. As closing remarks, I always like to reflect on all my learnings and all my takeaways. So a few of the takeaways for me and hopefully for you guys was, that API should be a core business product and it should be a number 1 priority because it can, help. If you monetize these APIs, it can help you add another revenue stream to your business. And at the same time, we also explored the build versus buy dilemma. Why building everything from scratch can actually hamper your growth because it takes away your attention from the tech, from the business use case challenges that you're facing to more to do with technology. And with open source, as Anil said, it's not free. It takes up a lot of your time, and time is, money, as they say. So that is one reflection. And at the same time, modernizing your legacy systems for enterprise customers is something that Apigee can help with monitoring and analytics as well. So these are some of the takeaways that I can reflect upon, and I will go back and read about it further. And at the same time, Sears can help you do that. Sears can come in, help with all the consultation, as Anubhav and Satyam kindly mentioned, that we can come do the discovery assessments, make a API roadmap for you, and help you onboard onto Apigee. So one of the best ways to try out Apigee is the evaluation organization setup, which we can do for free at Sears, and we can help you set up so that you can evaluate. That's where Sears can come in. And I would like to also highlight that with working with Sears and Google Cloud, we can also work on, if you decide to in the future adopt Apigee, we can help with better commercials, and we can help with the entire life cycle of your APIs. So thank you. In conclusion, I would like to thank all our participants for joining. Thank you, Hani, for being a very kind host. Thank you, Adi and Anil, for joining and sharing your insights on how Apigee has helped and can help. Thank you guys for I will hopefully stay in touch for Apigee and cloud related services. Thank you. Goodbye. Over to you, Hani.
Thank you so much, Kaushal, for your closing remarks. Now, once again, your feedback is valuable to us, so we're flashing the QR code for the feedback form on your screen for you to scan. Please fill it out so we can give you a better webinar experience in the near future. Again, Grab Food vouchers will be given to the first 25 attendees who completely fill out the form. Now, that's on top of the vouchers I mentioned earlier that you will be receiving for simply joining us today. So hope you enjoy these special tokens from Sears. So yes, Brian, yay, congrats to you. First place it is. Now this concludes today's event. Our speakers are back one last time to wave goodbye to everyone. So on behalf of Sears and Google Cloud, thank you so much for joining us at today's webinar, which is staged by Full Circle Events Asia. We hope to see everyone in the future webinars that we have in store for all of you. So At this point, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and keep safe.